A channel of communication between the wellness-oriented practitioner and the public, delivering unadulterated information about reaching optimal function and disseminating the tools for peak performance living. The Naval Talks, each Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Radio AM 1240 WGBB. To find a Naval Wellness Center near you, or for more information about the upcoming Nutrition, Aesthetics, Vitality, Efficacy, Life, Miracle University, it's navalexpo.com. Naval, it's where life comes from. This is Health Media with your host, Alex Lubarsky.
Hello and welcome to the celebration of your life. My name is Alex Lubarsky and this is a Health Media broadcast. The point of which is to empower you with life-transforming information, introduce you to inspiring people and ideas, and prove to you once and for all and beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is nothing, absolutely nothing as magnificent, beautiful, and powerful as the human being. Nothing on this planet, ladies and gentlemen, is as complex, designed as brilliantly, and with such attention to detail as you. Life, in fact, is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You got to live it as if there is no tomorrow, no yesterday, no later, no before, no after. There is only now. There's just this moment in time. So if you want to be well, you do it now. Happy, now, wealthy, now. There's just now, nothing else. In fact, a very brilliant man once said, banish the future. Live only for the moment and its allotted task. And right now, on tonight's program, we have the pleasure of speaking with the author of Boost Your Health with Bacteria to lose weight, relieve digestive problems, decrease inflammation, increase energy, combat allergies, and enhance immunity. Our guest is a best-selling author of The Hamptons Diet, The Hamptons Diet Cookbook, Thin for Good, and The Allergy and Asthma Cure. He is the president of the International and American Association of Clinical Nutritionists and the National Association of Medical Broadcasters. Our guest is a sought-after expert on the topic of healthy living. He lectures around the world and has been featured on many national television shows like Today, The View, AM Canada, as well as many leading magazines and newspapers, Woman's World, First for Women, In Touch, US Weekly, and Life and Style. It is my great pleasure to have on Health Media Live, Dr. Fred Pescatore. Welcome to the program.
Wow, thanks so much, Alex, for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
My pleasure, Doctor. I'm finishing up your book, and I think it is extremely brilliant with the kind of information that you're offering. I mean, we're talking about probiotics. We're talking about digestive system as the very foundation of health and life itself.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really the cornerstone, and I think it's really important for people to understand that because I think probiotics right now have become so much a part of the lexicon, so much a part, everybody hears about it. I mean, you turn on the television, and even that yellow packet of artificial horrible sweetener has probiotics in it. So there's probiotics in your yogurt, there's probiotics in your sweeteners, there's probiotics in practically everything. And I think right now people know what the word is, but they have no idea why they're taking it. They have no idea what it's supposed to be good for. And I think it's really important that we spend a little time talking about probiotics, just what they do for you, and how really beneficial and how I think vital and crucial the gut is, which basically is your digestive tract, to your health. It's where everything comes from. If your gut is healthy, you'll be healthy. If your gut's not healthy, there's no way you can ever be healthy.
Well, the problem is our guts are not healthy, and we have no idea how to make it healthy. And when we go to a regular allopathic physician, the only thing they can do to us is cause more damage to our gut by prescribing some quick fix medications.
Well, it's not only that. They just don't know what to do. They'll tell you, oh, you have irritable bowel. That's my favorite diagnosis, or at least for tonight's purposes. You have irritable bowel. Okay, what does that mean? What am I supposed to do? Oh, I don't know. Have some fiber, or take this medication. Take Bentyl, or take this medication, or take that medication, or take a stool softener. I mean, they just don't have any clue as to what's necessary to actually heal the gut. And healing the gut is it's sort of a two-step process. I mean, one is that you've got to, well, maybe a three-step. You've got to eliminate anything that's causing damage to the gut. Then you've got to eat foods that are healthy for the gut. Then you need to take a probiotic that's going to help fix the gut, along with some other nutritional supplements that also help fix the gut. So I think there's a really three-step approach here to figuring out how to make your gut healthy. And the first one really is identifying, what are you doing to yourself? What's wrong? Why is my gut not healthy?
I was speaking with someone who I consider a very brilliant person, and he said that if you're hitting your foot with a hammer, the first thing to do to fix that problem is not to put a Band-Aid or some cream, is you got to stop banging your foot with a hammer if you want the pain to stop.
Right.
So what is it that we're doing to ourselves that's destroying our gut?
Well, we're doing so many things. I mean, the first thing is high usage of antibiotics. I mean, people take antibiotics like they take candy. And whether or not you're taking antibiotics or not, you may be one of those people who don't take antibiotics, who refuse to take them, all that stuff. Well, if you're not eating totally organic meat or fish or chicken, and you're getting farm-raised anything, you're getting antibiotics in the food that you eat. So, because there's more antibiotics used in livestock than there is actually used in human beings.
And just to be clear, antibiotic stands for?
Anti-life, anti-health.
Anti-life, against life.
Right. So that's really, so you have to remember that. So you're getting antibiotics one way or another unless you're really amazingly, unless you eat really amazingly well. The second thing that causes it is steroid medication. A lot of people are taking steroids for their allergies, their asthma. It seems every time anybody gets a cold, their doctor prescribes steroids now. And, oral steroids or those inhaled steroids or something like that. It used to be you just got a cold and, get some bed rest and take some orange juice and aspirin and you'll feel better. Not that I agree with any of those suggestions, but now it's take prednisone and take this antibiotic and take that antibiotic. And then the other thing that people don't realize is why they have gut disturbances is, as long as we're staying on the topic of medication, is oral contraceptives. A lot of women, especially young women, take oral contraceptives and think it's doing nothing to them. And there's many other ways for contraception if that's what you're interested in. And oral contraceptives are really bad for your digestive tract. So those are I think, some of the big high topic levels of things that you do to yourself. And then the other thing, of course, is diet. We eat really badly. We eat junk food. We eat fast food. We eat too much sugar, too many simple carbohydrates. All of those things are destroying too much yeast, too much candida. All of those things are destroying the balance that nature has put in your digestive tract. And when the balance is destroyed, that's when your gut stops working, and that's when you get, what did I list in the book, probably 300 symptoms or something like that.
Now, what about drinking tap water? Don't you get fluoride and different chemicals that the government puts in to kill bacteria in the water, which ultimately kills the bacteria, good and bad, in your system?
Oh, sure. There's all of that, too. I mean, we can go on and on. We could spend the whole half an hour talking about just what we're doing to ourselves that cause a bad gut. But that is one of them. And I'm not so sure, and you may be right on this, Alex. I never really thought about it, but maybe fluoride is one of those things that kill the good bacteria in our bodies. But I know there's certainly other things that are, unless you have pure well water, which are probably a lot of our listeners right now don't. But and even then you have to get it tested because who knows how it's been contaminated. But there are things that are put into the municipal drinking supply to keep the levels of bacteria down. And while that may be good in one way, and we have clean drinking water, it does have ramifications that
unquestionably, and that's why I think it's imperative on Long Island, in New York, wherever you are, to have some level of water filtration for yourself, for your drinking water and for your shower water as well, because a lot of the toxicity that's in the tap water you're absorbing through your skin, you're absorbing when you drink it, and it's causing damage. There's no question in my mind that it does. I don't care what the government says. It's just something that we need to be aware of and be more conscious of, I think.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, the amount of toxins that we live our life in is just causing, I mean, and it could just be my practice, but because my practice is very much self-referral and that sort of thing. But there's so many people who come in with, I have a stomach ache, or I have allergies, or I have rashes, or I have, this constipation or diarrhea, or bloating and gas. And within a week or two, by just changing their diet and putting them on a good probiotic and putting them on maybe a couple of other things, there's marshmallow root, there's glutamine, there's a bunch of things that help heal the gut. But if you do that, within a week, people feel better. But it does take like 3, maybe 4, 5, 6 months to actually heal what we call a leaky gut, a dysbiosis. And you got to remember that there's more bacteria in our gut than there is than we have cells in our body. So there's a reason why these bugs are living in us. And it's good now because, Alex, I'm sure you're aware of that we have the National Institute of Health is sponsoring a multi-billion dollar study to find out why we have the bugs that we have in us and why your bugs are different than my bugs and different from the listeners' bugs, and everybody's bugs are different. We have our own unique flora, and we're messing with that.
That's the Human Microbiome Project.
Microbiogenome Project.
Microbiogenome Project.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So hopefully, part of that project, they found out why, the fact that the appendix is not a vestigial organ and that it actually houses good bacteria. And when your body gets rid of the bad, when your body is overwhelmed by bad bacteria, the good bacteria are sent out from the appendix into your gut to help it fix that. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. And that came out of that. And there's just going to be lots of great information coming out of this whole microbiogenome project. And it's going to be more and more about how good probiotics are for you and what they do.
Well, I think your book is a powerful first step with the amount of information you put in there about digestive systems, the gut. We are actually here with the best-selling author of Boost Your Health with Bacteria, Dr. Fred Pescatore, and we're talking about how you can harness the power of good bacteria to lose weight, relieve digestive problems, decrease inflammation, increase energy, combat allergies, enhance immunity. That's asking a lot from a simple bug, though, Doctor, don't you think?
Well, it's asking a lot, but you know what? That's really the cornerstone of health. I mean, when you fix, if you look at things, I always look at least in my practice, and at least the way I think of health, is if you fix the foundation, and if you go after what's bothering, what really is causing problems, then all of these quote-unquote miraculous things happen. They're not miraculous. They just happen because you're fixing the underlying problem. And when you fix an underlying problem, all of these inflammatory conditions like diabetes, like weight loss, like allergies, like asthma, like bloating and gas and stomach upsets and just sort of mood disorders, insomnia, all of this stuff is related to how the fact that our gut doesn't work. Our gut produces 70 to 80% of our immune system cells. So if your gut isn't working right, your immune system isn't working right. And then you've got then add that to the fact that it's also called our second brain. And then, so you wonder why so many people are walking around here depressed and because the gut produces, it's the second most common place where all those happy chemicals are produced, like serotonin and all of those things. And that's why so many people are on antidepressants, is because their gut doesn't work right.
Now, what about visceral adipose tissue, that big belly on guys that look like they're pregnant? They don't necessarily have the rest of their body fat, just the belly is just poking out like that. And it's just like solid, pregnant-looking belly thing. Isn't that part of intestinal problems?
Of course it is. It's because what happens is your body's putting out cortisol to help heal the. Your body's putting out cortisol to help decrease the inflammation.
So that's inflammation right there. That's
gut. Inflammation right there. If your gut is like that, and you're a guy, and your stomach is protruding out past your chest, you have a problem.
And what are, I mean, I lost a close friend to this kind of a problem. What would you say are some of
Really?
the risk factors that come along with that belly?
Well, the risk factors are diabetes, heart disease, stroke.
Hmm.
I mean, those are big ones. I mean, you die from things like that.
And how many people over 40, over 35 now, are walking around with this big belly that they're so proud of, and they don't know the ramifications and how dangerous it is to have that kind of inflammation going on within you?
Well, there's countless millions. You know, it was interesting. I was thinking about this today. I was walking home from the subway, and I saw a sign that said 1 in 6 Americans suffer from hunger. Well, 2/3 of Americans, 2 out of 3 Americans, are obese or overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 2 out of 3 are obese or overweight, and 0.5 out of 3 are starving, you only have 0.5% of us, 0.5 out of 3 are actually eating healthy. So you're looking at gigantic numbers of people who are suffering from a probiotic, from an illness that's directly related to the gut. Because when you look at obesity, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, cancer, the biggies, and I'm not just talking about indigestion, I'm not just talking about asthma and allergies. I mean, we're talking about the biggies. They're directly linked to how healthy your digestive system is. And that's why it's so important to have a good probiotic on board like Dr.Ohhira's probiotics that I really think so highly of. I mean, sorry if I mentioned a brand name.
No. I actually want to talk about that because now that we established that probiotics are important for optimal health and that we're lacking it, in fact, we're doing everything to destroy the good probiotics in our gut, what would you consider a good probiotic? And you, I think, answered my question there already. But how do you distinguish the good and from the mass-marketed commercial brand that really does very little or nothing?
Well, what you really need to look for is, I think, a live system, meaning that the pill that you take or whatever, that the bacteria is live. So these good bugs need to be alive when you're taking them. And most of the ones that you see on the market are freeze-dried, so they're not really live. So you've got to believe that they're going to wake up when they're in your digestive tract. And there's no way to know that really works or not. And then the other thing about them is that they give you 20, 40 billion. If one colony forming count is good, then 20 billion must be better. And that's not necessarily true because your body can develop an antibody response to that and say, what's all this bacteria in here for? This isn't supposed to be here because it's not natural to you. And so with Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, it's a live system. It does not need to be refrigerated, which is fantastic because every other live system does need to be refrigerated. So this does not need to be refrigerated. These bugs that come in this little tiny capsule, which is this own little world in there, they have their own food. They have their own bacteriocins, meaning they have their own things that will kill the bad bacteria. They have a very powerful strain called TH10, which isn't available in any other probiotic. And here's the best part. Well, there's two best parts. One is these bugs have been cultured together for like 3 to 5 years. So they learn how to live together. They learn how, it's sort of survival of the fittest, so that the best bugs are in this vat that then gets put in this pill. And it's really amazing. The Japanese are really very special when it comes to certain things. And they play music. They play Mozart when these bugs are growing together. And they put them through the 4 seasons of the year so that they really get to be a really cohesive system. And then the second part is, and here's the best part, is that when you take Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, when you take it, it goes into your digestive system, and it will recreate your own personal flora. So what it creates for me will be different than what it creates for you and what it creates for everybody that's listening out there. So it recreates what your body always had. And that's pretty fantastic.
So I think a way to look at the probiotics that's available on the market is kind of like perhaps wine or, wine, let's say, or port. It's been aged for so long. It's been harvested in a certain way. The grape has been fed a certain thing to make it exquisite there are different levels. So you can buy a cheap $5 wine, but there's a distinct difference between it and your $50 wine.
Absolutely. I mean, there really is, because it's what goes into it is the problem. Not the problem, but that's where the cost comes into. I mean, imagine growing a system for 3 years. You're not just getting a bunch of stuff, throwing it into a freeze dryer, and expecting it to work. You know what I mean? This product is put through unbelievably rigorous tests, and the fact there's a whole book written about the research that's been on there.
Now, let me ask you this question, Dr. Pescatore. You've been working with patients for many years. You wrote many books, best-selling, many of them. I want to ask you, out of all your experiences of working with people, what stands out in your mind as the most inspirational thing that it wasn't expected, and it really touched you in a way of actually helping someone, perhaps someone that was dealing with digestive problems or something stemming from it?
Well, I mean, there's two things. One is there's the immediate effect. If you have somebody who's suffering from heartburn, and you have them actually chew into one of the Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, their heartburn goes away within minutes. Within minutes. So it's as good as any drug that's on the market. So that is really fantastic to me. And then because when you can do something natural for yourself and you don't have to take a drug, I am all for it, especially those proton pump inhibitors that have no research beyond 8 weeks, and everybody's taking them for years of their lives. Who knows what that's going to cause? You know what I mean? We have no idea. And then the other thing that's really for me is that I see so many patients with GI disturbances, with allergies, with asthma. It changes their life when you put them on a proper diet and put them on a good probiotic. I mean, I've had people throw away their inhalers to get rid of their diabetes medications, to get rid of all of their laxatives and when someone tells me this is the first time I've not been bloated in 15 years or 20 years, this is the first time I've moved my bowels correctly, this is the first time I don't have rashes on my skin, this is the first time my eczema's ever gone away. I mean, those are pretty powerful statements. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me talking about it. That's what keeps me writing about it, because I want people to know. I want people to know that this exists, that it's there, and it's available to you, and it's in every, it's right on every corner store. It's in every grocery store, every supermarket, every health food store, and you don't need to suffer with any of these things anymore. And if you don't fix your gut, you're never going to be healthy, and that's really what I want people to know.
We're here with Dr. Fred Pescatore, the best-selling author of Boost Your Health with Bacteria, and we're talking about gut health. And in a couple of minutes that we have left, Dr. Pescatore, I want to ask you, based on all of your experience, your training, your dealing with people, if you could make one recommendation that can impact people's health right now, today, what would that one thing be?
Don't eat sugar in any of its forms. Step away from the sugar bowl. That would be the one thing I would say. I know we've been talking about probiotics, but things work in synergy, as you know. The body is not one thing or another, and the body all works together. All of these parts that are supposed to work so well. If you throw sugar into the mix, you're throwing something in there that's never supposed to have been in there, that will destroy every part, every cell in your body. And if you can get rid of sugar, get rid of simple carbohydrates, and get yourself on a good probiotic like Dr. Ohhira's, you're going to be healthier than anybody else on your block.
That's pretty impressive. And Dr. Pescatore, if you want to learn more about you, if you want to pick up a copy of your book, how do we do that?
Oh, please go to my website. It's drpescatore, PESCATORE.com, and I'm Dr. Fred Pescatore on Twitter. I Twitter all day long with different health tips, and you can go be a fan on Facebook where you get more health tips. There's just lots of stuff. It's really fun. I would definitely recommend anybody do that.
drpescatore, PESCATORE.com. Dr. Pescatore, I want to thank you so much for all the work you do
Oh, it's my pleasure, and thanks for all the work you do getting this information out. We appreciate it.
That's good. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to speaking with you again very soon.
Absolutely.
All the best. That was Dr. Fred Pescatore, the author of Boost Your Health with Bacteria and many other wonderful books. I strongly encourage you to pick up a copy. It will absolutely transform your understanding of how to access the very foundation of wellness. Dr. Pescatore wrote a number of great books, and I think the information in there will not only educate you, but inspire you to take action and transform your own life by taking your health into your own hands, where it ultimately belongs. And as we come to this, the end of this program, ladies and gentlemen, I just have one wish and one prayer. That may God give us the wisdom to protect our health from the drug pushers, the mangled care monopolies, and the compulsory medical Marxists. May the healthcare provider unify and take back the healthcare industry, and may it happen within this decade. Thank you so much for joining us. Feel good. God bless. Happy Valentine's Day. Wishing you love and happiness, hugs and kisses, lots of chocolate. Bye-bye.
The nurses all gathered round, and they gazed in wide wonder at the joy they had found.
The Naval Talks, each Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Radio AM 1240, WGBB. To find a Naval Wellness Center near you, or for more information about the upcoming Nutrition, Aesthetics, Vitality, Efficacy, Life, Miracle University, it's navalexpo.com. Naval, it's where life comes from.